Alright, we are in. We have our patch note for December 17th, which is only 4 days from now. Patch 11.0.7 will come out. And if you are triggered by negativity, you can already leave the video, man. If you want a harsh truth and actually talk about what is actually important for World of Warcraft retail to be back on top, well, then you can stay and we can discuss about it in the comment section below. So, it has been a while, man. It has been a while. We did have a worthwhile patch. When do you remember the last time we got a decent balanced patch? Just a decent, full-on balanced patch. I don't care if it's a 11.0.7 patch, but this is unacceptable, bro. Unacceptable. This is the 2 months. This is like max 2 month patch till 11.1. We have this for 2 months. And yes, we will probably have a balancing patch in 2 weeks because they will see the population bleed out, because this is just not enough to keep you come back to the game. If you're a PvEer or a PvPer like me, you are not going to come back to the game based on this patch note, based on this update. Alright? So let's go through the things that they have made possible for 11.0.7. As much as I want to say that it is worse or less than a Season of Discovery patch, and that says plenty. Season of Discovery is run by a very small team and has more changes on a phase that already existed back in the day. Anyways, so prepare for the rant. And if you're like a faint of heart and you are again fanboying a game that doesn't need to be fanboyed until it becomes better again, you got the point. So answer the call of Siren Isle. So we get a new mini zone kinda with catch-up gear. So if you haven't played retail till now, why would you come back for this patch? This is meant for players to come back to the game to be prepared for 11.1, okay? This patch is bare bones. Like, it's not talking to us, people that were playing or are playing retail. It's speaking for people that haven't got on the War Within or literally can do any raids or delves or PvP activity because for some reason they are not here. This is for them. Okay. I wonder how much of the population would actually be spoken about for this. But anyways, you got a zone where you will do some PvE activities. You have now better ears for cultirians and humans. Not better ears, but like you have more options. That's cool. That really needed to be updated on a 11.0.7 patch. That is really great. Like, I don't know how much dev time that took, but I don't care. It's not worth to be mentioned. That's how little that is. Then we have racial updates, something that had to be happen since Legion already, but they are not doing it. And now they are doing it and they sell it as a big thing, which is fine, but it still is not going to change any meta for PvP. Maybe like one racial is going to be more used, but that was already used, so it's only going to widen the gap even more between the worst one and the good ones. Draenei, Gift of the Narrow is 2 minutes. High Mountain Tauren has Rug Dynasty effect increased by 50%. That's all things. These things are great to have, but it has a bittersweet feel where there are no class changes, and they might even like prove me wrong tomorrow or tonight on the like a mini balance patch, because they are going to throw in last minute things that were not tested on a beta, on a PTR. They are going to throw changes if they do, and again, they might as well not do that. But if they do, they put balancing changes without any PTR stuff. You know how crazy that is? Like, League of Legends has a PTR for every 2 weeks changes. Every 2 weeks you have changes that you can test on the PTR from the week that actually launched a new PTR, like a new balancing patch. So if the balancing happened Wednesday on League of Legends, 2 days after you already have balancing changes for 2 weeks after, with things that are going to be added and things that are going to be removed because tested and it went wrong, because it is too busted or because it was not good enough, right? We are not deserving of that. We get changes 2 or 3 days before the patch actually releases. And that's if they're doing it. You understand that how backwards it is. Like, what's the point? You make us test the beta for the War Within. You make us test the raid changes for 11.1, which is going to probably go up in 2 weeks. You're going to make us test a lot of things, but simple balancing changes you don't let us test. The only thing that you could test on the PTR were those ratios, which again is self-explanatory how ridiculous it is that it is deserving a whole page of changes instead of class changes that are needed for a lot of classes. Or hero talents that are still sucky, like pack leader still is how it is, since the beta is mind-blowing to me. And I mean, I can talk about every single class that has such problems. Balancing does not do anything to the game, obviously, because systems are there to keep you on the game, okay? If the systems are bad, it doesn't matter how good the balancing is, you're going to leave. But at least, to the very least, if the systems are failing, don't make the gameplay fail like this. Okay? Like, balancing is the lowest entry point of dev time you have on a live service game. And again, you're going to say, but why are you not a deving instead? Why are you not making your own game? No, I'm a customer. I buy game time to be able to play World of Warcraft. So I am the customer. I can say what I need to make it better for myself. And you can do that too. If you're satisfied, that's perfect. Keep on playing. But I can tell all my friends have left, I have left, and I even play a 20-year-old's game which is classic. And I'm enjoying my time. I know at one point I'll be bored, probably, because it's like there are a few phases where are not very satisfying, but right now I'm happy because you know what? I know what my expectations are. I know from the start to finish how it is going to end up. No surprises. But in the War Within, it started so good that it feels so wrong that it failed. I don't know about you guys. The War Within, for me, is by idea a top 3 expansion. The lore was good. The lore is good. The zones are good. The questing experience was very fast and very cool. The dungeons are cool. Soul Shuffle is great by itself, like just in vacuum. Solo QRPG, the idea is good. The PvP is somewhat balanced, but I still ask for balancing because there are obviously a lot of classes that need some balancing or changes, or just the PvP things are needing to be changed. But that aside, I do believe like balancing is something that you see at the moment, but you reflect at the time like, oh, we had it good. So I try to be an outsider for that. But I still think balancing should always happen every 2 weeks. Minimum. Okay? So I don't know how it failed, but it failed. They just dropped the ball. It feels like they already work on the next expansion, which they most likely are. And right now they're trying to scrape the little things that are needed for the story to advance. So we have a goblin zone, which is fine. I like goblins, but we're moving towards there. Like, it feels like it's going to be baby steps until now for the story. And for PvP, we have nothing to go for. Like, there is no announcement except Plunderstorm, which, again, if there is no rated form, who cares? And it's only 1 month. Like, it's only 1 month and then it's gone. So if it's not like a permanent thing that is going to stay, then I can be excited about. Like it's a 1 month thing. If you were on vacation, you would not even have noticed that it was there. Okay, so let's continue because my rant will be long. I'll try to be short. We have another, like, a lot of changes of the racial, so I'm not going to read everything. It's cool if you are that race. It's not if you have to change to that race. To be fair, racials are cool, but it's limiting. Like, if you want to play Worgen and it still sucks, then you're not going to play Worgen, no matter what. If you're going to be competitive, right? You could, if you want to, but you're going to shoot in your own foot, kind of feel. That's the same for every single version of the game, by the way. Like Classic, TBC, RAF. Racials are, like, too impactful to, like, just ignore. But they are still not working on the fact to try to minimize that, right? And now the big desert of southern Morocco, pretty much, the Sahara. Nothing, literally nothing. Cross faction, which should have happened since BFA, pretty much. Items, some nerfs, some buffs. The crest changes, which is cool, but again, like everyone says, if it doesn't stay in Season 2, who cares for PvE? And I'm a PvPer, guys. I watch every single video, PvE and PvP. Some are very excited about that. Some are saying, like, if it's not staying for Season 2, who cares, kind of thing. And in PvP, we got just one thing, which is cross faction. That's cool. Unrated, which I don't care. So, and here, items, trinkets that are reduced by 75%, so we cannot even have fun in unrated the environment anyways. Like, it's for PvP, reduced at all times. So remember vanilla, remember TBC, remember RAF, where you had some mandatory trinkets, but it kind of gives some flavor. Although I'm not a fan of, like, farming to be like PvE to get into PvP, but it feels like the game has been dead because of that. Anyways, so yeah. Quests, who cares? New campaign, cool. You're going to be done in 30 minutes. User interface, cool. Oh, we're already done. So this is your 11.0.7 patch. Yeah. Could also just put it as a hotfix, to be fair. Like, this should not even be named as a 0.7 patch. We already know 0.7 patches are kind of small, kind of little. But if you remember Dragonflight, they started with a bang. Like, they had, like, a whole rework for reds. They reworked a few things here and there. Although it kind of, like, broke the game, I do feel like it's still better than nothing. Like, we have currently nothing, man. I don't know how you can say, oh, I'm so excited to come back to the game. It's 11.0.7. Oh man, this is going to be a great time to go be a retail gamer. And for the 2 months that are going to be live, I'm going to have so much fun with the 500 people that are going to play the game. Like, I want to love retail, man. I really want them to make me shut up. Like, I want them to make me be quiet. I want them to prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. But I am not satisfied with this. This is the minimum. The minimum. There is no balancing changes. These last 3 weeks, we had more Season of Discovery changes, man. If I'm looking on Wowhead, I'm going to look on Wowhead. I don't care. Let's look at Wowhead. Let's scroll. Let's scroll. Look at all the changes. All the brown changes are for Classic or Season of Discovery. Nothing. Literally nothing. And it's not even like I pick and choose. It's more like it is what it is at this point. I'm going to even, like, just remove all Classic, Warcraft 3, I don't know, Hearthstone, whatever. And I'm going to filter. So those are the news that we get from Blizzard, but mostly are articles from Wowhead. And we got like a few hot fixes, which, again, this doesn't make you come back to the game either. So let's discuss about solutions, or what would make me come back to the game, okay? I want Solo Shuffle to finally be addressed with the MMR issues. Stop being... How do you say in English? I don't know, but in Dutch it is Strasvogel. Literally putting your head into the dirt and wait till the storm passes. Don't do that. Give us the real reasons why it is not working well, the MMR. Inflation sucks, man. Like, I don't want the game to be inflated. I don't want the game to be deflated. I want a game that is coherent. What does it mean? It does mean that 2400 today is the same as in 3 months. The same as in 3 years. 2.4k MMR in Dragonflight should be the same as the War Within, should be the same as Midnight. It should be number that is coherent with time. Right now, it is not the case. And I'm like, that's even a negative for me, right? Because again, I would benefit from inflation because that would help me get the few goals I would have on retail right now. But it is just not good. It's not good for the players, not good for new players because they get shoved into the high sky rating where they can then get farmed by better players. It just is what it is. It's not good for veteran players. It's not good for the game because inflation is something you have to put into the game after a few weeks, after a few months, which is then too late because it's already bled out. It should be that you have rewards continuously while you're playing the game. You are playing an MMORPG. It should be rewarding to play the game at all times. Doesn't matter if you're like 0 CR or if you are 3.1 KCR, it should give you a goal at all times. Simple. Like that's purely rewards, right? It should always have a battle pass should happen. I don't care. Like it's weird because I feel like it's going to happen on a 11.2 patch, which is way too late, but I feel like it's going to happen on that point. But it should happen. They need to address queue times. It's ridiculous for Solo Shuffle. It needs to address solo QRBGs. Like, I don't know what they did, but it made the queue times very long. It should also not be that if you're like literally 400 MMR more than your CR, it should not take ages to catch up. Or just diminish that gap. Like, if it's like just inflated, don't inflate it. Because it's like, again, making you win 20 points every single time you're winning. It's like very long for nothing, especially on a game mode that is very long by itself. And if you lose, you don't even lose CR, so it's pointless, right? What else? Queue times, healers, incentive for game balancing. Hero talents, what is happening? Like, do they want to improve it? Do they want to rework some of it? PvP talents, do something with it. I'm tired of having like a class that has no PvP talents that are interesting. I'm thinking about Frost Decay, for example. Like, I'm not even a Frost Decay main right now, but like it's ridiculous. Like it's the same for Retribution Paladin. It feels like the PvP talents are restrictive, and then you have other classes that have too many PvP talents to be chosen. So it should be a tree. Like, let's say Elemental Shaman, Enhancement Shaman, like, you have a PvP talent useful for any situation. So, why not make a tree where you can make more decisions and fine-tune your PvE spec to be good in PvP, for example? Like, if you are a AoE build, that you could maybe fine-tune it to be good in single target and remove the AoE portion. Like, do something with this. Make Chain Lightning interesting in single target for Enhancement Shaman, for example. Or, I don't know, Storm Strike to be meaningful again. Or Wind Fury being meaningful again, for example. And those are examples. Again, I don't care how you do it, just do something. What else? I think my biggest point is right now, the queue times are ridiculous. it should not be. It should not be 20 minutes before I get into a game. Like that's the minimum. Like that should never be the case. And if you're a healer, it should not be the case that you're going 3-3 and you're drawing all the time. It should be a uneven round. It should be uneven, so nobody can draw. It should be half of the people is winning and half of the people are losing, and then you would be having a good MMR system. That's why I'm praising on social shuffle to be gone and bake it into 2v2 and 3v3 solo queue, which you can then team queue. I already discussed about it and how you could change it. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to make a 50 minutes video about it, but just do something. Like, I don't care. This should not be a debate. I think it should be unacceptable to have that long queues. And if the healers are a problem, remove the restriction of healing. I don't care. If the games are going to be drastically bad, then you would just tune the DPS specs to be able to be self-sustaining and tune the healing specs to be able to do more damage and heal less, for example. Then you would have more of a League of Legends support kind of deal where you're not just here to heal, but you're here to do the CC, here to do the damage and to contribute into the match. I don't care. I think PvP is now far beyond of needing just a pure healer. I think it should like evolve to a support role to be able to play without a support, so you would have faster queues. Imagine 3v3, all DPSers have like options to self-heal, self-sustain, and you could then just queue as DPS and you would then end up like a full DPS lobby where everyone has a chance to come back to the game, to self-sustain, and to have longer matches as a triple DPS versus triple DPS, but not as long as what we have with a healer, for example. Is that not an idea? I know that some classes are going to be obviously stronger, like for example rogues or hunters or paladins, retribution paladins for example, which they can bubble and win time on it. But it will be miles better than just wait on a queue. Again, don't stop on the idea of 3v3 DPS versus DPS in this current version of the game. Think about like balancing to make it possible to be able to do triple DPS versus triple DPS without being obnoxious one-shots, for example. Is that not an idea? And then another thing I'm going to talk about, our PvE boys out there, make Mythic Plus being able to be queued. Like a soul shuffle kind of thing. Although, again, we all know tanks and healers are going to be needed and it's going to make for long queues for DPS, but it would be still better than look up for an LFG when you're an off-spec DPS. Try to find a group, Mythic Plus, if you're an Arms Warrior or if you are, I don't know, a Feral Druid in PvE. Like I heard it was not that good compared to PvP. In PvE it's not that good. You will not have a group easily as a Feral Druid. You will have to probably go Balance Druid to find a group. I think that would be a nice addition to the game. I know that they want to make Mythic Plus still a thing where you're going to be social and find a group with LFG, which is cool, but I feel like the current game doesn't accommodate for that very well. While even in Classic, you are very meta, but you have 40 people, man. It doesn't matter who you're taking. While here, you have 5 people in Mythic Plus, it actually matters who you take because you want to clear the Mythic Stones, keystones. I don't know. I think they need to do something like that. But in PvP, I'm dissatisfied. This is unacceptable to have no balancing. Unacceptable that to have no communication on the PvP side of things. Unacceptable that they don't do anything PvP-wise except Plunderstorm. And Plunderstorm, I want to spit on it because I don't fucking care about it. I swore I will lose probably monetization on the YouTube video. I don't care. It is just not good. Please remove it. Again, thank you. Have a great day. I'm pissed. I'm going to play Classic. I'm going to play Age of Empire. I might even play PoE. I don't care. But for now, retail, I'm done. Like, fix it.